Apple versus Epic antitrust trial is on week 2 of arguments to decide if Apple's App Store is a monopoly. Today, a hint of a potential compromise floated by the judge. Let's bring in Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who has, of course, been covering the trial from day one. Mark, what's the latest?
The latest is we are in, I have to say, one of the more boring periods of the trial. This is where the economists are going head-to-head to try to make their case. If Apple's profit margins are monopoly-like, what changes or not Apple should have to make to the App Store. One of the more interesting things, Emily, that happened this week was the judge actually floated a compromise for Apple and Epic, actually something that I think we talked about a month ago. I certainly wrote about it on the website. Basically, to take a step back, the reason we're here today is because of V-Bucks. That's in-app currency, virtual dollars that Epic sells through Fortnite. And if you buy something through an app or a game on the App Store, you have to give Apple 30%. Apple or Epic didn't want to do that. What they can do, though, is sell those V-Bucks through their website. The problem is Apple doesn't allow developers to advertise that in their apps. So my idea was, well, Apple could be forced to allow developers to advertise alternative payment methods through a developer's website. And now that's what the judge floated. She asked, would this be a good solution? So perhaps that takes us a little inside her thinking of when she makes a final determination in the coming weeks.
Interesting. We'll have to see how Epic responds to that. We are waiting for Tim Cook to testify. When does that happen, and what do you expect him to say?
I think the earliest that we could see Tim Cook on the stand would be Friday, May 21st, so in about a week and a half from now. And obviously, we'll be watching that very closely. He's probably going to come and sit down and talk about the origin of the App Store, Apple's policies, how they work with developers, why they have these policies in place, and really defend the business model that has become one of the top 3 most important assets at his company.
Any sense of how Epic feels about their presentation so far? I mean, it sounds like many don't seem to be convinced.
Yeah, I don't have particular insight into what Epic thinks their performance has been like so far, but I can tell you that speaking to people at Apple, they appear to be extraordinarily confident about their chances. They've often referred to Epic's witnesses as being star witnesses in Apple's favor. They believe the testimony of Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic, the testimony of Lori Wright, an Xbox executive from Microsoft, basically did nothing to help Epic and did everything to help Apple. So Apple believes they're on very firm footing here, but the rest of this week and especially next week will basically tell us everything when you see Apple executives, Craig Federighi, head of software, Phil Schiller, head of marketing, and of course Cook, as we discussed, take the stand and give their perspectives. But then of course it all comes down to the judge and her decision.